Imagine holding your husband's hand while he drives. It's shaking violently. You think it's grief, but he's shaking because the adrenaline hasn't worn off yet. He's terrified that a microscopic speck of blood is still under his fingernail. He's rehearsing the lie he's about to tell the police. You're not just his wife anymore, you're his alibi. You're sitting in the passenger seat wiping tears. You're comforting the man who just executed his lover. In 45 minutes, a detective will ask you a question that makes you vomit. He won't ask about the intruder, he'll ask if you knew your husband was sleeping with the victim. Welcome back to Deadly Obsessions. Today's story is about the lies we tell to protect our perfect lives, and the blood we spill when those lies are threatened. To understand how you become an unwitting accomplice, we have to rewind. You met Mark when you were young. He was the catch of the county, hardworking, stoic, but Mark came with a shadow named Ryan. Ryan wasn't just a best friend, he was Mark's reflection. Ryan stood right next to Mark at the altar. Looking back at the photos, now you notice something strange. Mark isn't looking at you, he's looking at Ryan. You joked about their bromance. Ryan was at your house constantly, but a low frequency of jealousy always hummed in the background. You felt like a third wheel in your own home. You would catch them exchanging glances that lasted a second too long. Then the dynamic shifted. Laughter turned into hushed arguments. Ryan stopped coming over. Mark became possessive of his phone. You suspected a mistress. You checked for lipstick. You checked for hotel keys. You found nothing. You were relieved. You never thought to look at the best man. Think back to the wedding reception. You were dancing alone while Mark and Ryan were outside getting fresh air for 45 minutes. Think about the fishing trips they took, where they never brought back any fish. You weren't just blind, you were being managed. They had a whole world that ran parallel to yours. They had favorite songs you didn't know, they had retirement plans that didn't include you. You were simply the beard, the safe, respectable cover that allowed Mark to play house during the day while he lived his real life in the shadows. He curated you. He picked you not for your passion, but for your blindness. He needed a woman who was grateful just to be chosen. Someone who wouldn't ask why he stayed late or why he never looked you in the eye during intimate moments. You thought you were building a life together brick by brick, but Mark was just building a fortress to hide in, and you were the mortar holding the walls up. He studied you like a script. He learned exactly what to say to keep you docile. You weren't his partner. You were his camouflage. You felt safe in the very cage he built to keep his dark reality buried. Behind the scenes, Ryan was tired of being the dirty little secret. He loved Mark. He gave an ultimatum. Come out of the closet or I will drag you out. Mark lived for his reputation. He was the straight family man. If the truth came out, his mask would crack. For a narcissist like Mark, losing respect is worse than death. He decided that if he couldn't kill the rumor, he had to kill the source. Mark thought he was a genius. He thought hiding an affair for 10 years made him smart enough to get away with murder. He thought deleting texts made him a ghost. He was wrong. Criminals forget that the internet never forgets. Mark left a digital trail so wide you could land a plane on it. He didn't realize his phone provider was logging his every move. This is why you need to take your digital privacy seriously. You're being watched. This is why I use NordVPN. It's for anyone who wants their personal life to stay personal. NordVPN encrypts your data and hides your IP address. Mark left the door wide open for the police. Secure your digital life. Go to nordvpn.com/deadlyobsessions for a massive discount. What happens on your screen should stay on your screen. Mark didn't know about digital footprints. He only knew about physical alibis. That's where you come in. It was a Sunday. Mark asked you to help him return a weed trimmer to Ryan's place. It was the perfect prop because it was so mundane. Why would a man planning an execution bring his wife? So you said yes. Mark drove. His knuckles were white. He gripped the wheel so hard the leather creaked. You reached over to touch his knee, and he flinched like your touch burned him. You pulled up to Ryan's house. It was quiet. Mark walked to the back. 2 minutes later, he came running back, waving frantically. You ran to the kitchen. It was a disaster zone. Drawers ripped out, papers scattered. Mark said it was a robbery. He ran to the basement. You heard a scream, not of fear, but of grief. You ran down. Ryan was lying face down on the concrete in a pool of blood. Mark was sobbing. He said they were too late. You stood there paralyzed. You watched your husband hold his best friend's lifeless hand. You thought you were witnessing a tragedy. You were watching a performance. The police arrived. Mark told them the story. We came to return a weed trimmer. We found the door open. We found him like this. It seemed open and shut, a burglary gone wrong, but detectives noticed what didn't fit. First was the robbery. A brand new TV was still on the wall. Ryan's wallet was full of cash. Burglars steal things they can sell. This looked like someone threw drawers on the floor to make it look like a robbery. And then there was the 911 call. Detectives analyzed the audio. Usually when a person finds a loved one dead, there's chaos, panic. They try CPR. They scream at the operator to send help now. Mark's call was different. It was too clean. He didn't ask for an ambulance, he asked for the police. He didn't try to stop the bleeding because he knew there was no blood left to save. He wasn't a grieving friend in that moment. He was a cold-blooded director making sure the final scene of his movie was caught on tape. Then there was Mark. He couldn't keep his story straight. He gave 3 different arrival times. Detectives pulled surveillance footage. Mark's truck pulled into the driveway 2 hours before he came back with you. He was there alone. He went inside. He stayed for 20 minutes. He left. Then he came back with you as a shield. When the surveillance footage proved Mark was there, his robbery story fell apart. Cornered, he tried one last lie, self-defense. He decided to drag Ryan's name through the mud to save his skin. He told the police Ryan was obsessed with him, that Ryan tried to assault him, that Ryan pulled a gun. Mark claimed they wrestled and the gun went off. It was survival. You want to believe him, you tell yourself he had no choice, but the autopsy destroyed Mark's lie. Ryan wasn't shot during a struggle. There were no powder burns on his clothes. He was shot twice in the back of the head. The medical examiner determined the first shot hit him while he was standing. He fell to his knees. The second shot was the kill shot. The killer stood over him and pulled the trigger. It wasn't a fight, it was an execution. Mark didn't kill Ryan because he was scared. He lured Ryan into the basement. He probably hugged him. When Ryan turned his back filled with hope, Mark put a bullet in his brain. Police recovered the deleted texts. They weren't threats, they were love letters. Ryan wrote that he wanted to wake up next to Mark. Mark responded that he would fix it. He fixed it by erasing the only person who truly knew him. Mark was sentenced to life without parole, but the tragedy is you. You're left alone in the house he paid for. You have to explain to your children why daddy is never coming home. You go through the wedding album, you look at that photo of the 3 of you, you realize you were never the main character in your marriage. You were the beard. The real connection was between the 2 men standing next to you. Mark didn't just murder Ryan, he murdered your memories. Every I love you was fruit from a poisoned tree. So the next time you feel safe, ask yourself a question. If your partner had a secret that could destroy their life, how far would they go to keep it? Would they lie? Would they cheat? Or would they take you for a drive to return a weed trimmer? If this story made you question how well you know your partner, hit that like button and tell me in the comments. Do you have a best man in your life that you've always been a little suspicious of? This is Deadly Obsessions. Stay safe and stay suspicious.